Hi guys, hope everyone's doing well. It's going to be our third video, and I'd just like to talk a little bit about politics in Jiu-Jitsu. What is politics in Jiu-Jitsu? Well, there are many forms of it, many forms of politics, whether one team cannot train with another team, or one instructor's bad-mouthing another instructor, and the list could potentially go on. So I just wanted to give a kind of brief outline and really throw it out to the Jiu-Jitsu community for debate and dialogue, and just see what your thoughts are as the Jiu-Jitsu community in relation to Jiu-Jitsu politics. So at my academy, I have a completely open door policy. When I say an open door policy, I mean my students, or students of Jiu-Jitsu as I like to call them, can visit my academy at any time, from any school, any belt, any affiliation, and come in and be treated with the same respect and given the same training and the same input as I would to any of my students who are within the academy. We've done this for many years. We also open out seminars to anyone, again, any rank, any school, any affiliation, to come in and learn and cross-train together. Because that's my idea of martial arts, is the ability to cross-train with individuals from various schools. Now, a lot of people feel safe in doing that when they come to my school or my academy, because we're not a competition team. You know, we don't have a lot of competitors that enter competition in the sportive environment. Not because we're against that, it's just that our school is predominantly based on Gracie Jiu-Jitsu self-defense. So a lot of people just don't wish to compete. I have competed in both Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, and now I consider myself a teacher. So with this open door policy, it works in a two-way street. We get exposed to people coming in from said sportive schools, and they get to learn some of the self-defense aspects, which can be used again in competition. We saw Mickey Gall in the UFC, who trains with an old instructor of mine, David Adiv, use some self-defense arm wrap, took the guy to the ground, and then continued to win the fight. So they kind of cross over. But anyway, the reason we're talking about that is when they come in, we also learn from them, no matter what belt or rank they are. And like I said, people feel safe because we're not a competition team, and they don't feel like they could meet us in competition at a later date. So over the years, I've heard this word come about, and most of the Jiu-Jitsu community have heard it too. It's a Portuguese word, criante, which means traitor or something along those lines. Now, when we look at that as a word, you know, people swapping school and training here and there, some instructors really don't like it. They say like, oh, this is a school you train out of and fight out of, you must be here. But I actively tell all of the students of Jiu-Jitsu that train at my academy that they should go and train in other schools. They should visit other schools if they're on vacation, or if they feel like something different. Go visit and go visit and go and train. And remember, you're a representative of our academy, so be kind, be courteous, be respectful. And I have no issues. In fact, like I said, I actively encourage my students to go train. And that's my black belts all the way down to white belts. Go see other schools, go visit. The Jiu-Jitsu world is so vast. There's so much to learn, and from so many decent people. But that word, traitor or criante, as we hear, I think it's kind of used a little too much and a little loosely. We don't own Jiu-Jitsu students at our academy. They have decided to choose said school, to train in said school, and to learn from said instructor. What happens then if somewhere down the line they feel that they want to branch out and move into a different area of training? Maybe the self-defense. They feel like they've achieved whatever they've wanted to achieve, and they want to go try something else. That's absolutely fine. That's their choice. I mean, we cover all aspects in our academy. As I've said, we have world champions in our association in the sport Jiu-Jitsu, and we're not against that. That is a component if you imagine Jiu-Jitsu like a tree, it has branches. That's one of the branches. And I think if you don't know that style of training, then you're missing out. And the same can be said for the self-defense aspect. But what I will say is there are right and wrong ways for people to leave academies. I've had students come to me and say, "Oh, Professor, I'm moving away. Could you recommend a school for me?" Or, "I want to focus more in tournament fights and stuff like that. And thank you for the journey so far." And we've parted as friends with an open door policy that they can always return. The wrong way to do that would be if you just suddenly left the school, took a bunch of students with you and just said, "Oh, look, let's go train over here." That would be bad. That would give you a bad image. And then you would acquire that name, because I guess you would go from school to school and doing that. But for me, from my perspective, when it comes to politics in Jiu-Jitsu, I try to be as non-political as I can. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's treated the same. Everyone trains the same. Everyone receives the same attention to detail when it comes to training. What do you guys think about that? What's your thoughts on that? And listen, again, it's not about right or wrong. It's just an open question. People say to me, "Oh, what about loyalty?" Loyalty is a big thing. I think loyalty is a subjective thing. My definition of loyalty, I would never place it on someone, because when I consider what I consider as loyalty, I hold that so far up here. I would never say to someone, "Oh, you're loyal to me," because that's me setting them up to fail with my thoughts on loyalty and how it should be. From my perspective, I would be setting them up to trip themselves up. So I don't think loyalty really comes into it. You have to find a school where you can get in, where you fit in, where you receive the right training for you. Jiu-Jitsu is a personal thing. And at some point in your journey, you will find that right school. You will find the right instructor. You will find the right training partners for you. But I think, for me personally, all instructors should have an open mind. All instructors should have, or should realize that they're not your students. They're students of Jiu-Jitsu, and Jiu-Jitsu is so vast and so wide. People should be able to go and train where they feel, with who they feel. And if you're that confident in your training, in your teaching, and your training methods, then that student will always return to his place. Guys, interested to hear your thoughts. Hope everyone's doing well, and check in with you guys next time. Thank you.